Hello everyone, Adrienne here. So today I'm going to be doing a very special absinthe review. So it's going to be a 2-in-1. Now I haven't really done a 2-in-1 anything before, so this might be a little interesting. And I'm just warning you right now, this is going to be a longer video just because of it being a 2-in-1 absinthe review, so just keep that in mind. If you get too annoyed by the length of this video, then feel free to click off of it. Absolutely no pressure at all. So I haven't really done a 2-in-1 anything before. The closest thing I can think of is just doing like a 2-in-1 comparison between preparing a blanche or a bleu and a verte absinthe being prepared in the same video for the Slipstream absinthe pipes that I reviewed like 2 years ago, because I got engaged later that night. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So I received 2 samples from the distillery known as the Phoenix Delaware Distillery that was kindly sent to me by my friend John North in the absinthe community. So thank you so much, John. I really, really appreciate it. That was so sweet of you. You honestly didn't have to do that. So thanks so much. So this review is going to not only act as a review, but also as a tribute to the late owner of this distillery named Cheryl Lynn. She was very much an unseen and very much underrated pioneer of the absinthe community, and I really wanted to highlight her and her work in the absinthe community and in the distilling of absinthe, because not only was she based in the United States, but she also was a woman. You know, a lot of the time in the absinthe community, not as much attention is paid to the women who contribute, and that's why I feel so incredibly lucky in the absinthe community. You know, I'm young, I'm not white, and I'm a woman. I was really anticipating that there was going to be a little bit of that like white boys club thing happening, and oh, you're a young woman, what do you know about absinthe, get out of here and let us middle-aged white men just, you know, take over things, whatever. But again, I really lucked out. A lot of the members of the absinthe community that I have had the pleasure of interacting with have been amazingly like welcoming, and they really respect the work that I do here reviewing absinthe on my channel. So I'm really, really thankful for that, especially the ones that send me not only like free bottles of absinthe, but also samples of absinthe to review on my channel. So thank you guys, I really appreciate it. But like I said, women are kind of the unsung heroes of absinthe. You know, it was an old peasant woman in Switzerland in the 18th century that made the recipe that we now call absinthe, that was mass distributed later on. And then the women that lived to over 100 years working in the absinthe fields to gather all the wormwood and the various herbs that are used to make absinthe. We do a lot. I really wanted to highlight someone who was not only just a pioneer in general for her work in making absinthe, but also an American, and made a genuine American absinthe that was a really, really good product. So the 2 absinthes that I will be reviewing today are Meadow of Love, which is a rouge absinthe, which I'm excited to try a genuine rouge, not one that has been artificially colored, or maybe it's a rosé. So yeah, I'm not sure how that one's going to turn out, but I'm excited about it. And then Walton Waters. So both of these were made by the Delaware Phoenix Distillery, and I'm really excited to try them. And since the website basically kind of, you know, got shut down after the passing of Cheryl, I really wasn't able to find very much information in regard to either of these absinthes, and I'm really, really sad about that, because I was hoping it would provide just a little bit more detail about the process, and especially like what kind of like flavoring and tasting notes would be in the rouge or the rosé absinthe. I'm really sad that I wasn't able to find more information on that. I am so sorry, guys. Really, really sorry. So I will be talking a little bit about Cheryl. So this was from kind of like an obituary sort of post that was made for the Delaware Phoenix Distillery page. So I'm just gonna read this really quick. This was back on July 4th of last year. We found out yesterday that our dear friend and collaborator Cheryl Linz passed away. She has been a programmer for Apple in the 80s. She'd worked for the Human Genome Project as a programmer in the 90s. She dropped out and lived in a yurt in New Mexico, and she moved to the Catskills and learned how to goat farm with stone and thistle, and then started her own absinthe distillery over a decade ago. She was an actual genius, a devout Buddhist, amazing painter, bookmaker, chess champion, autodidact. I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. And better yet, a dedicated and true friend. She felt like family to those who knew her well. Her dear friends and neighbors and surviving brother are taking care of her immediate needs. Star Root Farm LLC will host a dinner to honor her. We will hope to continue her legacy as she would have wished with the Delaware Phoenix, and as we have had the honor of growing her botanicals and apprenticing with her in the distillery for the past 6 years. But that will take some time to figure out. In the meantime, we will ring bells and gongs, rehome her cats, and imagine her winning chess championships as she prepares for her next life. Sorry, guys. I didn't expect to get emotional from that. I'm really sorry. And then Brian Robinson of the Wormwood Society also added, "The Society has lost one of the best onto the higher plane, Cheryl. We wish you well in the next life." So yes, Cheryl Lynn, pioneer, amazing member of the absinthe community, really big name, and kind of an unsung hero. So now I'm going to read the description of these absinthes. Like I said, they're really not hyper-specific, and again, I don't blame the late owner of the Delaware Phoenix Distillery, so I'm just gonna go through it. New York is where I make this artisanal absinthe superior using the finest herbs based on the 19th century methods in a traditional pot still. This anise-based herbal spirit was famous in the 19th century, enjoyed by artists and people from all walks of life. Prepare simply by slowly adding 3 to 5 parts ice-cold water to 1 part absinthe superior, no sugar required. I like that they made a special point of putting no sugar required, because that really speaks to high quality of this absinthe. So I'm really, really excited. It's obvious that a lot of love and attention went into making this absinthe, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys. And if you want to go out and buy it, it's probably gonna be fairly scarce, and honestly, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it's expensive now, since it's no longer in production, so just be aware of that. If you are interested in buying bottles of these, just keep that in mind. I'm going to try and conserve this absinthe as much as I can, and hopefully I can get the shots that I need for the TikTok video that I'm going to be making for this all together today in this one sitting. I might get a little extra drunk from drinking both of these at the same time, but that's okay. That's a good way to go in my opinion. All right, so enough nonsense. We're going to check out the appearance and the louche, and then I will be back to evaluate the aroma and the flavor and the mouthfeel and give my final thoughts. All right, guys, so now I am filming behind the camera just so I can make sure I am properly controlling the footage for not only the YouTube video but also the TikTok. So this is gonna sound a little weird and a little different. I apologize. Okay, so first let's evaluate the appearance of Walton Waters. Alright, so the appearance of Walton Waters actually looks really nice. Kind of a soft, kind of golden color. I'm not exactly sure how old this bottle is, but that's okay. But anyway, so for appearance, since it's crystal clear and correct, I'm going to give it 4 stars. So that's great. I'll just keep the bottle there just for reference. And now we're going to take a look at Meadow of Love. Okay, a little spillage right there. Sorry about that. It looks like more pale version of Walton Waters. That's a little weird. I was kind of expecting that to be a rouge, but maybe it just kind of faded into like a beige color. So I don't know what that's all about. So for appearance, I'm going to give that one 4 stars as well because it's crystal clear and correct. Looks really nice. It's not exactly green. Neither of them are exactly green, but that's okay. So, appearance, definitely let's just give them both 4 stars. Okay, so now we're going to evaluate the louche for both of these and see what happens. Looshed right away. The stream's going a little fast, sorry about that, but honestly, really thick, impenetrable, opalescent louche, that's exactly what we want. Roughly color-wise, they're about the same, except the one on the right, which is the Meadow of Love, looks a little bit more like a blanche as opposed to a rouge, but that's okay. Okay, so looking at both of them, they look lovely. I will say that the Walton Waters does look a little bit more green. They look lovely. Really thick, impenetrable, opalescent louche. So for louche, I will definitely give them 4.5 stars. They do lack a little bit of complexity, but that's okay. Honestly, I'm not too worried about that if the louche is really nice. So 4.5 stars for both of these. Okay, so now I'm going to reposition the camera again so that we can evaluate both of these and rate them on their aroma and the flavor and the mouthfeel and give our final thoughts. Alright, so we are now back to evaluate the aroma and the flavor and mouthfeel of these two wonderful absinthes from the Delaware Phoenix Distillery, so I'm pretty excited to see how these are. To be honest, I'm a little surprised that these look almost identical in appearance because I was kind of expecting one to be more of like a rosé or like a rouge or something, but that's definitely not the case, so I don't know what that's all about. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. If I am, I'm terribly sorry about that. Like I said, information about these absinthes now that they are no longer in production is a little scarce, so I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so let's start with Walton Waters. So here's what it looks like. Sorry for the dribble on the glass. So let's take a little sniff, see what's up. Ooh, oh my... Girl. Ooh, that's really nice. It's like, it has that pine tree-like quality that I like with a lot of absinthes that I have tried in the past. A little bit of a spiciness too. That's really interesting. Really fresh, really botanical. I'm not really detecting much anise, but I'm definitely detecting some really good wormwood forward notes, if that makes sense. Definitely getting that fennel. So it smells traditionally correct. I'm gonna go ahead and give it 4.5 stars for aroma. There's nothing really particularly outstanding about it, but it's definitely complex and lovely, so I'm definitely gonna give it 4.5 for that one. Alright, so now we're going to check out the Meadow of Love absinthe. So I'm just going to reposition these to make sure that I know which one's which. Ooh! A little bit of a sweeter vibe, not so much like pine tree-like, but definitely sweeter. It's a little more forward on the anise. A little fruitier too. I don't know what that's all about, but it's quite lovely. So this one I'm going to give 4 stars just because it doesn't have quite as much complexity as the other one. Yeah, definitely getting more anise, but like it's not quite as complex, but it's still really fresh and really lovely. Okay, so now I'm going to try the flavor of Walton Waters. And as always guys, santé and please drink responsibly. If it weren't for the color and the louche, I could almost mistake this for, oh god, my mouth is just watering so much. But that is just lovely. It just leaves that lovely cool tingle on your tongue, and it's just so fresh. Like, you're getting a lot of like peppermint or spearmint or something. That's probably what's making that really nice pine tree like fragrance, if you will. Really lovely. Oh, that's really nice. That is really, really nice. Okay, so I've had my first taste of that one. Let's check out Meadow of Love. And don't worry, guys, I have water here to cleanse my palate before I try the second one, so don't panic. I'm on official business here. Okay, so here is Meadow of Love. Like I said, slightly different in appearance. I'm really not sure if that's catching much on camera, but this one is just slightly paler in comparison than Walton Waters. So we'll check out and see how this one is for flavor. And again, santé and drink responsibly, especially when you're doing a 2-in-1 absinthe review. Yeah, nice job, Adrian. Nice job. I'm definitely getting more fruitiness with this one. Like, almost like I almost want to say like a strawberry or a blackberry or something. I don't know what that is, but then there's like a little bit of like a nutty sort of flavor with it. So it's definitely different. Structurally, it is very similar to Walton Waters. It's just a little fruitier and a little bit more forward on the anise. So it's not like, you know, a black licorice bomb, which is terrible, but it's definitely more forward on the anise. So it's lovely. It's different, definitely different. I forgot to give a score for the previous one. So for the previous one, I'm going to go ahead and give that one 4.5 stars. It has a really nice sweet finish and really coats the mouth really nicely. So for flavor on that one, I'm going to give it 4 stars as opposed to 4.5. I will say I like the mouthfeel of the rouge or of the Meadow of Love a little bit more than of Walton Waters. So they're slightly different. It really just depends on what you want to go for. Neither of them necessarily require sugar. Like, if I were to have my husband try either of these, I don't think that I would give it to him with sugar, because I think that they would be plenty sweet on its own. Again, my husband has a huge sweet tooth. He does not care much for absinthe. I have a feeling that he would like Meadow of Love a little bit more than Walton Waters, because it does offer that really nice sweet finish. So I like the mouthfeel of the Meadow of Love a little bit more, so I'm going to give that one 4.5 stars. And then let's go ahead and evaluate the mouthfeel for this one, the Walton Waters. Yeah, this one leaves a little bit more of like a tingly, fresh mouthfeel than the other one. So this one's more tingly, fresh. The other one is more sweet and a little bit more of like a soft whisper than anything. So this one I will give 4 stars for the mouthfeel. It's obvious to me that a lot of love and care went into making these two absinthes. They are absolutely gorgeous. They're pretty damn close to jades, let's be honest. Like, again, if it weren't for the color and the slight, like, lacklusterness of the louche, like, the louche is beautiful, like, beautiful opalescent, no light can penetrate. It looks really, really nice. It's just not quite the same level of, like, jewel-like depth or opalescent depth that I usually would get with a jade. That being said, these are really high quality. You saw from the footage, these cloud right away. You know, so much attention to detail was made on both of these absinthes, and I'm really, really happy that I had a chance to try these. I really am. So overall rating for both of these, I don't really feel the need to give like 2 separate like overall ratings for both of these. These are both excellent. They, on all of their marks, they hit like the outstanding and excellent range of rating for everything. So, you know, the appearance is really nice. It's not necessarily jewel-like, but it's really nice and correct. I don't know exactly what's going on with Meadow of Love, what color that was supposed to be. Again, maybe I'm remembering it wrong. I feel terrible for not getting all the proper information, but with the website being shut down, it's a lot more difficult to get that information. Usually when I am researching an absinthe before I get ready to review it, I try to get as much information as I can, typically by checking out the website of the distillery that makes it. But since the website is shut down, that does make it a little bit more difficult. So overall, these are excellent. If you do happen to get your hands on them, I highly recommend them. But again, with the absinthe no longer being in production, they will be a lot more difficult to get a hold of. Just keep that in mind. And then just to show off and pay tribute to the wonderful lady that made these absinthes, and I genuinely am sad that these aren't in production anymore because they're so good. Like, they're really, really top-notch quality. Like, again, pretty damn close to a jade. So, to pay tribute to the wonderful lady who made these, I want to show you guys a little bit of footage of her talking about her distillery and talking about production. So go ahead and just stay tuned and enjoy this little video of Cheryl making her absinthe.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Lenz. I'm the owner and distiller of Delaware Phoenix Distillery, and I started this business in 2009. Well, that's when all the permits were finally approved. Walton had been dry from 1845 until about 1965. Within Walton, there was no distilling of beverages. That's what I wanted to do. So I had to get special permission to be able to actually do this here within the village of Walton. Mostly it was, I only had some friends of mine suggest that the absinthe that I'd been making was pretty good, and that they thought maybe I should be a professional. So that gave me the idea that, wow, really? So I thought about that and thought, well, maybe that's worth looking into. So initially you have to begin to understand what are called the Code of Federal Regulations, so that you can find out all the special rules that exist for a distillery. Certain types of locks are required on the doors, and things like that, security and all sorts of other stuff. So that's kind of the first thing, and also then looking around at the types of what facilities, what buildings in Walton that might be available to me would meet those requirements. So but a lot of the buildings in Walton, even if they had a storefront or place in the beginning at the bottom floor, would be acceptable. This building was available after the 2006 flood, and it had never had dwellings in it. It had always been like offices, old-timey, who knows, lawyers' offices or what. So it was like, oh, cool. So this could actually meet that type of regulation. People didn't know what absinthe was. They had no clue. I told them it was a 19th century spirit that, had been become available again in Europe, back in 2000, and, it was something that I liked.
So guys, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you so much to John North for sending me the samples. Again, I feel extremely lucky, especially now after having tasted them, that I got a chance to try these before they completely disappear from the market. I'm really, really sad that a lot of people won't get a chance to try these, and especially with them being in the United States, it's really important that we draw attention to good United States absinthe brands, specifically because people have the wrong idea about them. Oh, they're not real, they're not authentic, they're not gonna make me trip balls, so why bother? That sort of shit. I get so sick of it. I really do. Comes with the territory. I feel, again, extremely privileged and extremely lucky that I was able to try these. Thanks again, John. I really, really appreciate it. And for all the other samples that you sent me. This is the end of the samples that you sent me, so I'm really, really glad that I had a chance to try these. Even if I didn't get like a full bottle myself, if I get lucky down the road, maybe I can get a bottle or two. That would be lovely. But seriously, guys, these are top-notch quality, almost almost like jades. So if you love jade liqueurs, and if you love any other like really high quality French brand, and you maybe want to try something a little bit more local, and you're lucky enough to get your paws on these now that they're no longer in production, please do. You know, don't pass that chance up. These are wonderful. So in Pace Requiescat to Cheryl Linz of the Delaware Phoenix Distillery, you did amazing work. It's obvious that so much love and attention to detail went into making these absinthes. So I applaud you. You know, brava. That was wonderful work that you did. And I hope whoever wants to get a chance to appreciate these does get the chance to do so, because we're probably not going to see these ever again. And to everyone, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking with me on this very long episode of one of my absinthe reviews, or maybe as I should call it, my adventures in absinthe. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much to my patrons for your support every single month. You're amazing. I cannot do what I do without you guys. And to everyone, you're amazing. I love you, and I will see you guys later. Bye.